Well, if you got a dollar, well, just lousy down. You know that I got rhythm that could suit your budget fine.
Hi, this is Patrick with Trusty Mercantile. Welcome to my channel. Tonight's video is going to be a little bit different than what I've done in the past, because even though I do vintage selling on my YouTube channel, I don't typically do pre-recorded videos. So this is a little bit different. This is coming out at the organization of Beth from Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties. If you're finding this video on its own, please make sure that you look at the description of the video, because I will be including in the description what Beth has organized is an entire day of resellers where we are all being scheduled to drop our drop sale videos on the hour throughout the day. So if you've caught mine and didn't know that this was happening, you've already missed a pretty large number of videos. I'm relatively late in the day. I think there's only a few coming up after mine. So you can watch these videos. Mine is not, unfortunately, a premiere. So you can watch this. It is scheduled, but it's not going to be a premiere because I'm not available to monitor the premiere. But if you see anything that you like in these videos, some of the others may have been premieres. I think that was left to each person's individual structure. But in general, what you're doing in a pre-recorded drop video is you will be claiming items within the chat. So watch the chat. I will be doing my best. I might have time once or twice through the evening to try and go in, and I will try and be keeping an update in the description of what has already been claimed. You can still claim as a backup, because in some cases maybe somebody won't pay for it, so I would need to go to the second person who's interested in it. So but keep an eye on what has already been claimed, and maybe I'll do a summary of what has not been claimed, so it's a little bit easier to find the items that are going to be available, because I do have 15 items that are available this evening. All 15 of them are Christmas related. In general, what I've done is I recorded this, or I am recording this during the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. I have decorated my home for Christmas. You can see some of it right here. And what I started doing was purging some of the Christmas that I have accumulated over the last couple of years, just since I've been a reseller. I would find items, go to, buy them to resell, but then I said, oh, I kind of like this, and then incorporate it into some of my own decor. As I was doing the decoration this year, I realized, these weren't necessarily things that were right within my, my own aesthetic, or, I didn't really have a place for it. So I am now passing them on. So these are not items, these are all items from my personal collection, and these are all items that have been on display for my Christmas displays, but only recently. Not getting rid of anything that, my daughter grew up with, or any family heirlooms, or anything like that. These are all just fun, relatively inexpensive, actually, items that I'll be dropping. And if what I'll be doing is just like in my live sale, I'll show you the item. It is first to claim, because there is no live interaction here. So I will be showing you the item. I will show you the price. That is the price you will pay. And I will then give you the item number. If you would like that, quickly claim that in the comments, because I will then be going in comment order. So don't watch the entire video and then try and put a claim for like 5 items altogether. Claim items as you want them. So again, because the first person to claim will be the first to get it, but there is no live chat for this because there is no premiere. So I've never really done one this way before, so hopefully this works well. And if it goes well, maybe I'll do more of these, because now the theater is opening back up. My schedule is getting a little bit messed up, and actually that's where I am while you're watching this. If you're watching it at the time I release it, I am on stage or about to be on stage for rehearsals. So, one of those things, we all have lives, and we just have to make sure we figure out how things work. So again, Trusty Mercantile, I ship from Chicago. The prices I give you are not including shipping. So if you have not shipped or if you have not purchased from me before, please send me an email to the email address listed in the description of the video, sending me your shipping information. I will send you an invoice. Once you pay that invoice, I will ship your items. So the first item is actually something I picked up from another reseller. I've enjoyed it for a couple of years, and now I'm passing it on. This is, or maybe I just enjoyed it last year. I'm trying to think when I bought it. But this is an Archie comic book. It is the Christmas version, and I picked it up specifically for the artwork. I set it up as the backdrop for a Christmas display with some vintage items in front of it. It is a more recent Archie. It's from 2011, but it has, you know, the Archie look on that. And so I thought it looked good with some of the vintage that I had. Again, as I started re-looking at how I was decorating, this didn't fit in there anymore, but it's still kind of a cute piece. It's an inexpensive piece. I'm basically selling it for what I paid for it. I also paid for shipping, so, you know, in some ways I'm losing money on it, but that's okay. I enjoyed it. Now I get to pass it on to somebody else. So the Archie Double Digest, the Archie comic book from 2011, is $5, and you can get that by giving me number 49. $5, number 49 for the Archie comic book. The next item also was picked up, and this is probably a little bit more my aesthetic. And I did really debate whether I was going to keep this or not. This is probably not particularly that old. And although I do have pewter in my collection, I just decided that this is not one that I was going to maintain. And this is a pewter votive candle holder. So I don't know if once upon a time if there would have actually been a glass dish with this, but it is all metal. So you probably can just put a regular votive candle, you know, right on here. But it's got this great relief detail of Santa. And it is, yeah, nut and screw. It's got a little nut and screw on there that attaches this bottom plate, this front plate to this bottom plate. But even the back of the bottom, even the back of the bottom plate has some decoration. So depending on where you put it, you actually will have some dimensionality. You know, people will see it from all sides. I never even had a candle in it. I literally sat in. I think I might have put something else on top of it. It just, again, changed up my design, and he is no longer part of my collection. So passing him on for $6. $6 for the pewter votive holder, $6 for the Santa pewter by giving me number 42. $6.42 for the pewter Santa. A lot of these are Santas because I did have a Santa collection, and that is kind of what some of these were being purchased for. He was a cutie, and I really enjoyed him. I believe I can't remember if I picked him up from a reseller or if I might have just picked him up while thrifting. He is a little bit heavier than a Japan Santa, so I think he's a little bit more modern than that. But I still think he's got some age to him. He is a Santa holding a partridge in a pear tree. I don't know why Santa is holding a partridge in a pear tree, so I don't know if this is maybe part of a full collection. Like, was Santa holding all 12 days of Christmas, or was, you know, Rudolph holding one? I have no idea. But this is the Santa with the partridge in the pear tree. He is fairly, again, he's fairly weighty for his size because he's not very tall, and he's just on, you know, a very small platform of his actual boots. He's not marked in any way. So again, I can't really swear 100% how old he is. I would guess 80s, 90s. Maybe he's older than that, but he's got the bisque finish. He does not have the high gloss. I just don't know the age of him. I just think he's cute, and he did look good in my Santa collection. It's just, you know, that collection's not going out in its same life this year, so he is being retired. And like I said, I've only had him for probably a year or two because I picked him up while a reseller, and now I'm passing him on as I probably had intended to do when I bought him to begin with. So he is $8. So $8 for the ceramic Santa with partridge and pear tree. $8 by giving me number 34. $8.34 for the Santa. So the next item is actually a lot. It's a group of items. I did this for a few of the pieces that I had picked up. All of these, again, were picked up within the last few years. Not within this calendar year, because all of these were at least decorating my home last Christmas. So that really, I've had them only for a short period of time. This one I had picked up. It appears to be, you know, from all intents and purposes, it does appear to be an actual piece of wood that has been carved to look like an old Santa. I do not believe he is necessarily old. I don't believe he's a primitive piece. I think it is maybe a decent, you know, a little bit of age on the piece of wood. And it definitely has some distressing, you know, where the wood has either been, I think it's been split. Maybe they cut it. But based on this, I think it's just a split. Very ingeniously done. You know, it's very well carved. It's a very nice piece. It sits very, you know, perfectly flat. And it did give me some good height as I was adding to my Santa display. But again, he is, although I do a lot of primitives, he doesn't really have the true primitive look, so he is getting retired. So that one is getting retired. This piece is definitely not particularly old. It is made in the Philippines, so it's maybe a little bit older than made in China, but it's from Midwest importers. It's another piece of wood. It is got a Santa carved into it with a little metal bow and holly leaf display, and it is a candle holder. So the top has been, surface cleaned, I guess. It actually looks like, it looks like the actual place where the candle is held, maybe out of safety, that is lined with metal, but the top is not. It's just, maybe it's painted. It's very, very smooth. So I guess it was designed to hold a taper, but they were concerned if somebody lit a real taper, they at least made sure that the inside did not burst into flames. But again, I think this is probably machine made, but it is made out of wood and it is very nicely carved, and it did look good up in my display. Because, these sat actually very near each other because they're both wood. And then the last one, I'm pretty sure is not wood, but he's trying to look like wood. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and include him in this lot. It is what's trying to look like a carved Santa holding a toy and a drum. This one actually does have a date on the bottom. Now, I don't know if Chris T made this in 1991 or if this was a gift to Chris T in 1991, but you can see it's not a wood grain. It's been sanded down, and so it's got the striations on it, but it's too uniform for this to be wood, and it's a kind of heavy. So I do believe he is some sort of a resin, but he was done in such a way that you got that look that he's been carved. So for the pieces to go together, I thought it made it for a nice lot. Again, he's actually, prove that he's pretty old because he's got 1991, but again, not an antique piece, although that is what he is trying to pass himself off as. So we've got the lot of 3 wood or wood look Santas, and you get all 3 of them for $15. So $15 for the set of 3 Santas, wood Santas, because there's other Santas coming up. Set of 3 wood tone Santas, $15 by giving me number 67. Another Santa, which was also on display, I grew up with a Norman Rockwell collection. I've always collected something, and in the 70s, the Norman Rockwell, Precious Moments, David Winters, those were going to pay for my college. They did not pay for my college, but I did still, growing up, liking that aesthetic, that Americana, that look. So when I came across this, collector's plates do not hold a lot of value. But what I like about this one is it's significantly smaller. This is a 6 1/4 inch diameter, so not the large size. I think those are like 8.5 maybe. This was The Day After Christmas by Norman Rockwell, a special edition collector's plate produced on fine porcelain for decorative purposes, made in Japan for RH Incorporated. I don't know what RH is. I don't think Restoration Hardware would have done this, but who knows? But it was made in Japan. Because it's a smaller size, it did actually look, I had a little plate stand for him. He does give some good height, and he's less obvious as, one of the mass-produced collector's plates. This just made for a nice, traditional-looking Santa. And it was really cute. And again, I'm just thinning out the Santa collection, really, going into quality versus quantity. This is still a quality piece, just not necessarily in the aesthetic of the way I decorate the rest of my home. So it's getting retired, but it does definitely hold a place in my heart because Norman Rockwell, it is what I grew up on. But this one is a small plate, and it's only $5. So $5 for the Norman Rockwell Day After Christmas plate. You get that by giving me number one. Number one, $5 for the Rockwell plate. The next piece is actually not for my personal collection. I wanted to have a bunch of Christmas items, and this I picked up specifically to resell. So this is not coming out of my personal collection, although I did purchase it. This is an homage to Daniel from Tacky Is Me, Katie from Vintage and Vinyl, Dolores from Miss DAM Jewelry. You've got the hashtag Bring Back the Brooch. And although brooches have proven popular throughout the year, and in some cases the kitschier, the cuter ones, the better, But what I've discovered is that a lot of people will wear the brooches at Christmas time. You know, this is the place to pull out their jewelry. And this one gives you that Christmas bling that you would be expecting to wear at Christmas time, whether on a nice sweater, a nice jacket, or hey, you can even just put tons of them on an ugly sweater. This is an enameled red with the green leaves, and it has the rhinestone, the pave rhinestones in just the center. So it's got a nice bit of bling in it, but it's also got the enameling. And I love the enamel jewelry more than I like the rhinestone jewelry, but everyone has their preferences. This has both. It has, it's gold tone with a gold tone back. And this one is actually stamped. This one is stamped, I had to just look at it again, Eisenberg Ice. And I do remember Katie has talked about Eisenberg. It's not the highest end. It's not like a Weiss, or Austrian crystal or anything like that. I think the Eisenberg ones were sold at the Woolworths and counters like that. But it is signed. And so it's one of those cases where it has a little bit more value because you know exactly what it is, but it's not a high value item. But it's very decorative, and who's going to be flipping your brooch over while you're wearing it on your Christmas sweater? So this one for the Eisenberg Ice rhinestone center and enameled poinsettia, this one is $10. So $10 for the brooch, $10 by giving me number 85. $10, 85 for the brooch. Another mixed lot that I'm offering is a collection of my Santa tins. Again, these were all picked up recently and now retired on my collection. You've got this little tin where Santa's hat pops off. This was made in England. Cap tins, I believe is what it says. You can see it's kind of a couple price tags were underneath there. So I think it says Cap Tins. It's from the Tin Box Company, which was founded in it was originally another Daher's was bought out by the Tin Box Company in 1982. So this is a post 80s. Does have a zip code, which you would expect. It does still say designed by Daher, so it might be a little bit older because the Daher name is still on here, but most likely an 80s or a 90s tin. Smaller size, this looked really nice and just kind of has a cool effect and decorated all the way around. So that's one of the tins that you'll get. The next one is kind of a different style of Santa. He's in a white cloak with some of his Winter Wonderland woodland friends. So I don't know if he is supposed to be more of an international Santa. He still has the hat, but it's more like a knitted wool cap. And then I'm not sure why his coat is the same color as the deer. So maybe it's from a Nordic country, more of a Father Christmas look. The tin itself doesn't have any marks on it. I don't know what this would have included initially, nor do I have any idea of how old this one is because it is not marked. But it's got an old style image on there, and it did look cute in the collection. And then the third tin is also, I don't think, particularly old. It's from Hallmark. So this was from, it once included, I think it included Christmas cards, if I remember correctly. Yes, it included Christmas cards. Commemorating the 150th anniversary of the Christmas card, 1843 to 1993. So the tin must be from the 90s or from 1993. So it's actually a little older than I thought. But it's got the old-fashioned Santa as a Christmas card on the front. It's in absolutely pristine condition for something that's from the 90s, so that's actually nice. But it does have the big barcode on the back. It's got the Hallmark logo on there. It's trying to, quote-unquote, look old, but, it's just from the 90s. But it's actually, because it's from the 90s, it's in perfect condition. So for those that are looking for that older look, and people love that old-fashioned Christmas, it's a great way to do it without having too much patina if you're not really into the whole primitive look. So the set of 3 tins, the Hallmark, the Unknown, and the Little Santa cap tins, you get all 3 of them for $10. So $10 for the set of 3 tins by giving me number 90. The next item is another Hallmark piece. It has the remnant of a Hallmark logo on the bottom of it, the barcode. So this one, though, it's got the website on there, so definitely not from the 90s. or wouldn't assume it's from the 90s, but it doesn't have enough information on here to show when it actually was. It's one of those heavy resin pieces. It's really cute. It's got, you know, the different trees that spell out Christmas. It's in great condition. There's no chips, there's no cracks. Everything I'm showing, unless I'm specifically mentioning the damage, there is no damage. Because again, almost everything was from my personal collection, and I don't tend to have things with damage in my personal collection. So this is just a great resin piece, and it is only $8. So $8 for the Santa resin from Hallmark, $8 by giving me number 77. The next piece I'm showing is definitely newer. It even has a sticker still on it saying made in China. So I think there's a little bit of age to it because I had been collecting this style of Santa for years. Basically, as my daughter was younger, this is the type of Santa I would get at Christmas time. This particular one is not one that I had received. This is actually a tree topper, and it was intended to go onto my Christmas tree, but I have a 9-foot tree, and when this tried to go onto the tree topper, it kind of got lost because it's, as you can see, it's very, very skinny, and the tree was too big to put something this narrow on top. I just didn't like the way it looked. So this one was sitting on a shelf last year with the rest of my Santas, but it is a tree topper, but it's not a tree topper that I am going to use. So I figured it would be better served to go into a new home, let somebody else enjoy it who might have more of a pencil tree or a narrower tree or some sort, or just another decoration, you know, that they like these types of Santas, because he has the white coat on here. So more of a Father Christmas, carrying the old fashioned candlestick, nightstick, and the white hat. You know, it's a beautiful piece. It does happen to have the little sticker that says made in China, but again, who's going to flip him over? Who cares? He's a cute piece, and he's only $5. So $5 for the little fabric, you know, hardened fabric style of Santa. $5 by giving me number 51. Another lot of items. These I had picked up again in more the idea to try and be backdrops. In a couple of cases, they were just actually too large to sit in the back for how I was trying to display them on the shelf. So one of them was a small one, you know, so this one actually worked pretty nicely, but I don't need them anymore. So this is a tray, more of a tip tray size, that has a little sticker on the back saying it was made in Hong Kong. So a little bit of age to this one, with the Santa and the sleigh, you know, heading toward the little hut in the village. But on the larger size, we're going into, this is just a melamine plate. I don't think there's a huge amount of age to this. It does say made in China. Not recommended for use in microwave or dishwasher. It says melamine. You know, this is probably within the last 20 years. It was cute, but it was also, even for the rest of the Santas, even the ones I'm selling, he was a little too cartoony for the way the rest of my Santa collection looked. So he is getting retired, and he is available as part of this lot. And then this one I did pick up specifically for my collection because he is vintage and he's beautiful and he's in fantastic condition, but he was actually too tall to fit on the shelf because he is 13¼ inches across. So keep that in mind. I'm gonna have to put this in a relatively larger box. It'll be a short box, but it's gonna be in a relatively large box to ship. He is not heavy at all because it's not melamine. I guess it's kind of a plastic. It's not metal, but it's an older plastic, and it does still have the Made in Japan sticker on there. I really can't. I was gonna say it was lacquered, but I don't think it is now that I'm feeling it. But it's in absolutely pristine condition. He's got a great look to him. I mean, he's a beautiful piece. Unfortunately, where I was trying to use him, he was too large. So this one's getting retired simply because he doesn't fit. So it's this tray, the oval tray, and the metal tip tray. You get all three of those, all in perfect and wonderful condition. You get the set of 3 for $15. So $15 for a set of 3 trays by giving me number 99. The next item is actually another tin, but this one I separated out because it's a candle. So it has on the side, there's a little gold foil sticker that says it is Bayberry scented. So I don't know if there were multiple scents available. There's no other indication on this. There used to be a sticker on the bottom, but I'm assuming that was a price tag. I don't know who made it. There was a stamp on the metal that said made in China, but it does say something else. So hold on. Gift Co. Incorporated. So it's copyrighted Gift Co. Looks like it's one word. And then Incorporated, made in China. So I don't know anything about Gift Co., but made in China, a little bit newer. I do think there's some age, because I don't think, you know, they were really there. I don't think they're still making tin candles, but I could be wrong. But I do think it has a little bit of age to it, and it was never used. So, you know, you could definitely give this to a gift to a vintage lover. It's a wonderful little piece, and it's only $5. So $5 for the little Bayberry scented Santa candle by giving me number 70. $5, number 70 for the candle in a tin. All right, so I've got another lot of Santas. As I mentioned, I was going to have more Santas. These, though, are resin Santas, and, you know, that other one might have been resin too, but these are not trying to look like they're wood. These are simply the resin Santas. Now, this first one is actually the tallest. So let me get a measurement really quick, because they were all a little bit different. This one's almost 8 inches tall. So this one is relatively tall as decorative Santas go. So you've got some really nice detail. He's got his, again, more of like a woodland Santa with the big walking stick and carrying a fairly large doll. It does have a stamp on the bottom saying it was from Galleria Lucy's, exclusively from Roman. So this is from 1983. So it's the Roman piece from 1983, but it is resin. Then you have another Father Christmas one. This one actually says Father Christmas, copyright 1992 from International Resources Services. So again, from the 90s, you know, I think that's when these were fairly popular. I actually have some others of these in my collection. This is one that I had picked up more recently, and just am not merging it with the rest of the collection. Because the rest of the collection my daughter grew up with, this one she did not. So this one is being sold separately. And then the last one is another one that I picked up. This one doesn't have any marking on the bottom. Once upon a time, it was sold at Hallmark. There's a remnant of a Hallmark tag on there. But again, another kind of a woodland Santa with the Christmas tree with the bag of toys. So you've got, these two are about the same size, you know, so those two are somewhat similar, but then you've got the 8-inch one, is quite a bit taller. So you've got the set of 3 of the resin Santas from the 90s and beyond, and that the set of 3, you get all 3 of them for $12. $12 for the resin Santas by giving me number 43. Another lot that I picked up, and I think I had just picked this up right, probably, I don't think it was during before the COVID. I don't think it was during the COVID Christmas. So I think maybe have had these for a couple of years, and I did like them. They looked nice. They were a little sparkly for my taste, and that's kind of why I decided to get rid of them. And, you know, I liked the fact that there was this set. There's a set of 6. I think I'm going to hold all of them, but they're trying to look like some of those cloth style Santas that I have in my collection that my daughter had been getting me as she was growing up. They're just a really small version of them. So, you know, this one's like a super, you can see how the light's reflecting off of him. So there's a set of 6 of these. This one appears to be sitting, this is the one that's kind of a little different. He's sitting on a gigantic snowball. They all have a UPC or a barcode on the bottom. So again, so we're showing that these are not particularly old, and I don't believe I had seen a year on these, but again, these are probably 90s, maybe getting into the 2000s. Because they're glittery, they may be actually going into the 2000s. So again, some of these have the really glittery coats on them. They're very small, so they fit on just about any shelf, and you can kind of tuck them in, or these would also, might be a little tall, but I think some of the those printer shelves that have the little cubbies in them, you know, these would probably fit really nicely in the vertical cubbies. So they're really cute, but they're a very specific application. They're not ornaments. They're not designed to be ornaments. They are designed to be sitting up. So I'm selling all 6 of them. You get the set of 6, and you get them for $6. So you're getting them for $1 a piece. So it's probably what I paid for them. So $6 for the whole set. Very cute. Just, you know, you got to like the glitter. So $6 for the Glittery Santa collection, little resin Glittery Santa collection, $6. by giving me number 75. The next item I have is also well marked. It is not, I thought it was a Hallmark piece, but it's not. It is actually marked as Abbey Press. So it has zip code on it. So I think this is probably maybe 80s. I think I vaguely remember this style. I think there were like resin little boys and girls that were actually fairly large, much larger than this. But I think this look, I kind of vaguely remember from the 80s, but I don't remember who made them. Maybe they were made by Abbey Press. But this is the Abbey Press from Indiana. I thought it was Minnesota. It was from Indiana. And it says, please do not remove the sticker, because the sticker says, never leave burning candles unattended. Keep away from flammable materials. Okay. Because what this is an Advent candle wreath. So you have the children of the world holding banners surrounding this. So it says joy, love, hope, and peace. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 children, but you can kind of see again, they're all kind of in national dress from different areas. And I think I remember at one point I'd looked this up to see what it was called, but it was called something like, you know, Hands of the Holidays or something like that, or Holiday Around the World. But it is a 4-candle ring, so it is an Advent. One for each week of Advent. So I probably should have listed this earlier, because I believe Advent will have already started by the time this video runs. But it's still a cool piece. I love the international aspect of it. And what would also be cool, even if you don't use it as an Advent wreath, because not everyone does the Advent calendars, this is a large enough opening in the middle that if you have one of those small feather trees or just a small tabletop tree, this would sit probably around that base. You could either put candles in there, or you could just leave them blank and maybe drape some greenery around the top of it. It would look fantastic, and I think it would be a really nice. It'd be a really nice showpiece for the base of a small tabletop tree. However you want to use it, it is available for $15. So $15 for the Children Around the World Advent wreath. $15 by giving me number 45. My last item is a pair of ornaments. I have picked these up, well, not necessarily these, but I've picked up items from Mary Englebreit in the past and typically list them on my eBay channel. These got put into a box, and I did not find them until I was pulling stuff out for, after the Dachshund fundraiser. If you don't know about that, you can watch my videos on that. I'm basically finding things that I had picked up along the way and forgot to list. This falls in that category. So if they don't sell tonight, I'll go ahead and list them really quickly. But we've already, people have already started decorating for Christmas. So what I'm hoping these might be purchased as is maybe a gift. So you can buy for somebody who likes Mary Englebreit or just likes this design. These are Mary Englebreit teapots. When I looked these up initially, they typically are selling in the $15 to $20 each category on eBay. I believe they were from the 90s. They, just Mary Englebreit still has a following, and I have purchased a lot of Mary Englebreit items, even made in China items, and they still sell, and they actually sell quite nicely, as a matter of fact. So I'm just basically taking the easy out by including these in the sale because I wanted to 15 items. So here's my 15th item, and these will be sold as a set. As I said, they typically were selling around $15 each. I'm selling $15 for the pair. So $15 for the 2 teapot ornaments. And I think that actually the back has the names. So Cherry Orchard and Tiny Hearts. Didn't even realize those were hearts. So Cherry Orchard and Tiny Hearts, if you want to really quick Google these, see what they go for. But so $15 for the pair by giving me number 23. So thank you for joining my drop sale. Thanks again to Beth from Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties for organizing the drop sale. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, all the items that I showcased, if you wanted to claim any of those, if you have not done so already, just make sure you are putting the item number in the comment section since there is no live chat, and I will be trying to keep a running tally in the description of the video to let people know which items are claimed. If you see something's claimed, you can go ahead and say you want to be the backup because depending, some people sometimes don't fulfill their orders. So, since I don't have the comments of multiple people trying to grab it in a live chat, you can always try and say you're the backup. So put that into the comments. Again, I'm relatively late in the day. She's been doing these since relatively early this morning. I want to say the first one is at 9 a.m. So if you've gotten this far and have not seen any of her other videos, definitely look at the description of this video and I will have hyperlinks to all of the videos that have already happened. Coming up on the next hour at 7 p.m. Eastern is the next video, and that is actually an individual I was not familiar with, so it's a new channel that I will be following. That is Angela from Our Retro Reflections. So again, her link to the video, which will go live. I do not know if she's doing a premiere or if she's just, releasing it, but that will be at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern will be Stephanie from Thrifting Adventures. So she will actually be the last video wrapping up the day. So you can catch those two and still grab everything fresh as they're coming off of their videos. But if you have some downtime as those videos, we each have different lengths of videos going live, make sure you use that to go to some of the old videos and see if there's anything you might have missed in their sales, or maybe there's just somebody you weren't familiar with and you like the looks of their sales. You may want to start following them and follow the next time they do a sale on their own. So thank you so much for joining my sale. I would appreciate any comments of what you liked about it. I watched a couple other video channels that have done live sales. Catherine Young from Cat Young Creates, she did a drop video even just today. So I watched that to kind of see how she was doing it. Because again, I didn't have a lot of experience this way. And we'll see if you like it, and if I like it, we'll see how successful it is. Maybe I'll be doing more of these, but for now, I hope you enjoyed it. Again, a special shout out and thank you to Beth from Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties, and to all of the other individuals that she gathered together to do this day-long video drop. I hope everyone has a chance to check out all the videos and everyone enjoys what Beth has pulled together. So thank you again so much for your time, and thank you for putting your trust in Trusty Huckster. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Well, show me a sign if you're wishing me to stay. Otherwise, I say goodbye and finish out the day. And that sunrise in the morning and you got nothing to say. Oh, that's when I'll be headed on my